What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Engineers That Filters podcast, episode 157. I'm your host, Jacob Thompson, and God damn it, that was the rest of the intro again. Tonight, I am drinking a Truly citrus squeeze. I thought it's hot as balls outside. It's seltzer weather, so I went over to the store, and I haven't had Truly for a while, so I got me a nice little pack of citrus Truly. So excited to be back on the train here.
I'm Joseph, and as I will talk about momentarily, I drove through Wisconsin, so I'm having a spotted cow.
Gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta. I am Gabe, and I am drinking the Goose Island Hazy Bear Hug IPA. It's a bear in sunglasses, so that's why I bought it.
Yeah, it's a good can.
No, it's Beer Hug.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
How many of those have you had?
Intro yourself, Dave.
Yeah, I'm Dayton. I'm drinking. This is a nice Vizzy.
Oh, okay.
Vizzy. Blackberry lemon.
God, I'll be honest, I forgot Vizzy existed. It has been so long since I've seen a Vizzy.
I just found them in the fridge downstairs.
Yeah, that's a solid. It's all. Joseph, you're a big Vizzy fan.
Yeah, I still am. I like them. You know what I had recently? Topo Chico. They're surprisingly good. We had some of the margarita flavors.
Yeah.
Wait, they have seltzers that are margarita flavored?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I only had one of them, but I was like, oh, it's definitely drinkable. I mean, there was no negative points that I had.
Yeah. Topo Chico is a drink that I've heard of for so long. I've never even seen it in the store. Really, I haven't really looked, but I have no idea what it tastes like. But everyone I've heard had it. They like it, so. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. This is, like I said, episode 157 of the podcast. As you know, we're doing our monthly rollout right now. So first Monday of every month, I'll be a new episode. We're actually recording this one a little bit early, so we probably won't have as much of an update as we did last time, because it's only been about 2 weeks since we recorded last, but it's no big deal. If you like the show, be sure to follow us on socials. Links are in the description below. You can follow us on Twitch too, where we live stream all of our episodes on, random Thursday nights. It'll be usually the last Thursday of the month, but this time it's not, so you know how it is. But yeah, and we post on podcast services and YouTube. If you like it, be sure to tell your friends about it. But let's get into our updates, how we've been doing the past couple weeks. I'll go to Joseph first. I know you've been doing stuff lately.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about it earlier, but Memorial Day, Alyssa and I went to Chicago. It was our Christmas gift to each other. Instead of doing, physical gifts, we planned a trip. It was fun. We went to a speakeasy kind of on a whim. It was a tiki bar speakeasy, which was really weird.
That's a combo.
I had to walk through like 3 or 4 doors to get in, and it was in a back alley. It was cool. Had a Mai Tai, and the glass was like a tidal wave, and then it was cool. It was fun. I was like, I want to come here again with like a group of people, because you could do reservations or standing room, so you could like reserve a table, and they had like group drinks, which were like, I don't know. There was one that like had we saw someone have it, had like 30 straws sticking out of it. It's like, huh, that sounds fun. I don't know what it is, but it looks fun. We went to a couple museums, did the architecture tour, which I am a huge fan of. So that was a blast. And then I sold my car, actually.
Oh.
I sold the Subaru.
Okay.
Briefly talked about it with Dayton a while ago, and then I kind of didn't tell him whether I was going to or not, just asked, just discussed it. And then when I came home, I picked him up to go camping, which we went camping when I was home again. I showed up in a different car, and he's like, oh, so you did get it. So I got a Volvo C30, which is a little coupe hatchback. For you Twilight fans out there, it is the car that Edward drives
Really?
in Twilight. So that's cool.
We got a
And
big Twilight fan base crossover with the EWF
That's
podcast.
why he got it.
Yeah,
Like,
specifically.
that's
It was
Edward
when we
Cullen's
watched
car.
Twilight with Cece. I was like, that's the car I want. That was like 2 years ago or something. And yeah, then I went home for a family photo, which I believe I had talked about before because I went home in September for this family photo and it got canceled.
Oh, right.
It was this last weekend. We got there in the morning and it was foggy, and so my mom was very stressed out. But it turned out okay. The pictures were like kind of more in the dunes than like on the beach, so you couldn't really tell that it was foggy. The kids did really well. There wasn't too much fussing, and I even got my own glamour shots during it. So that was pretty sick. I'm very excited to see how those turn out. I did not go into it expecting them, but they're like, "Oh, you're gonna do like pictures of all the families," and I was like, am I a family? And they're like, yeah, you are. And I was like, wait, what? Actually, am I getting a picture? And they're like, yeah, we'll do some, pictures of you. And I was like, cool, okay. So I like pulled my hair out of the bun and like flipped it around and all kinds of stuff. It was great. Yeah, and then Dayton and I went camping on the Manistee River Trail. It was miserable. It was so long. I don't know how he runs it in a single day. It was awful. It was like 20-mile loop in 2 days, so 10 miles a day is less than we did on Isle Royal, and the terrain was significantly less hilly, at least than a couple of the days that we had. Yeah, it was fun. We drank warm beer and sat in the rain and got bit by mosquitoes. So
sounds like the Midwest.
Good time.
Hey, we swam in the river too.
Yeah. The very cold river.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll switch over to you, Dave. How are you doing, and what's your side of the story there?
Yeah, so I mean, I enjoyed going camping. I mean, I thought that it was a good little shakeout trip for me, because I'll be leaving shortly. But I guess I'll talk about like what I've been doing before I talk about the future, because I think we recorded before I moved, right?
Yeah. Last episode,
yeah.
you were in your empty, echoey.
Room.
Yes.
Yeah, it was super echoey.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so obviously survived the move. We did a straight shot from Connecticut all the way out to Holland, Michigan. Absolutely brutal. I think we woke up at 3:30 in the morning, left by 4:15, didn't get home until like 10 p.m. We did take a short little detour in Lansing to visit my sister, and drop off my couch that I sold to her. Ate some pizza there and everything, but that was really like an hour and a half break.
Yeah.
It was a friggin' heck of a trek though. Like, I consumed so many energy drinks, and I was strung out from them. I was like just bugging. But yeah, so I'm really happy to be home now. It's been pretty nice. I've been all over the place though. Like I stayed here for Memorial Day. My sisters came over. We just kind of hung out by the pool, and then actually some of my friends from Connecticut came to the Indy 500, and they were just like, "Oh, like you're home. We'll go up and see you over Memorial Day." So that was pretty nice to go to see him again, because I didn't have a chance to say goodbye to some of them yet. And then I drove over back to Lansing, stayed at my sister's place for like 4 or 5 days, I think. Helped them out with some yard work. Used a chainsaw for the first time, so that was pretty fun. I was telling Joseph, I think, that I like using chainsaws. They're pretty fun.
Why am I not surprised at all?
Who knows? I might need to acquire one at some point. I don't know what I'll cut, but I'll find something.
You'll probably have to research them for about 4 years first, and then you'll finally buy one.
Probably, yeah. And then went to my cousin's lake house for a day, and then went back up to Manistee, ran the loop as like a training run. Came back down here for a day or two, and then I drove. Well, I didn't drive. I went out with a friend's family out to Minnesota, southern Minnesota, like right on like the Iowa border, for a wedding. So I was out there for like 5 days, and then I came back, and then Joseph and I backpacked, and now I'm here, working. I've just been doing my standard, work from home stuff. And then this Sunday, I'm going back out east, and I'm going to Vermont, and I start my long trail journey. And I guess by the time this publishes, I will be probably only like 20 or 30 miles from the finish at that point, if we publish on the 6th or whatever it was.
Yeah. That sounds awesome. And this will be your second time in Vermont? Or did you go to Vermont a few times when you were...
No, I've been to Vermont a handful of times. Okay. I mean, like, we visited Vermont, and then I've been up there mountain biking a handful of times as well.
Okay, cool. Nice. That'll be great. Gub, how are you doing?
What's going on? Pretty good. Not doing long trails. What about to? So Memorial Day, I ended up buying a bunch of new camping gear.
Let's go.
A new tent. I finally got myself a backpack. So looking for some trips here later in the summer. Test it out, but got to test out the new tent at Cuyuna. I got to camp there for a night, and it promptly thunderstormed. Tent holds up great, by the way. That was awesome.
Good way to test it.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't mean to, but it worked. Yeah, I rode about like 50 miles in 2 days, so that felt really good. I mean, my legs didn't feel good, but feeling good for the training. Then just been doing a lot of bike riding with my road bike. I had my I made it like 2 miles in, and then my bike broke on me when I was up there. And then I like brought it back to a bike shop, fixed it, didn't think anything of it. And then it broke on me again when I was back in Minneapolis. There's like I won't, like, for the listeners, I won't get too into technical details, but like my cranks fell off essentially. Like one of my cranks just kept going even, so like you'd have to like pedal kind of like both feet. Imagine like, you're thinking of a pedals, they're supposed to be opposite, but like imagine both pedals at the same spot. So I had to buy a whole new crank set for it. I think the guy who sold it to me just didn't really let on to that type of thing. So yeah, I've been riding a lot on my road bike, which has been awesome. But actually, the day that it broke in Minneapolis, it also later that day I was going on a road ride with one of my friends, and her bike broke down. So I didn't make it like a day. I tried to bike both ways, and then both times like a bike broke down, and I had to kill my trip a little early. But I got to fix it. That was an adventure. I learned a lot. Putting a chain back on. I took the derailleur apart like an idiot, and decided I was gonna clean it while I was at it, and it was fine until I put the cogs on backwards. They're different. Learning experience, but it's all good now, so that's good. What else? A lot of soccer. I've been playing a ton of soccer with a soccer team, and just doing pickup and practicing and a bunch of stuff. I've had 2 hat tricks back to back, baby. Wednesdays nights, so feeling pretty hot on a hot streak. I'm sure I'll fuck it up eventually, but yeah, just been keeping busy doing my normal stuff. So
very nice. For me, I've not been on a hot streak lately, it feels like. So I think when we recorded last, I was coming off of a 2-week vacation, so then I had to get back to work. So I'm pretty sure I worked on Memorial Day actually, trying to get ready for lab stuff again. But I'm back on campus. Like pretty much all last semester I was work from home. But I'm back this summer trying to get experiments done, and it's just been so much fucking work. Like last week I was in the lab for over 30 hours, which doesn't sound like a lot to people who work full weeks, but for me it's a lot because I'm theoretically supposed to work 20 hours a week. But in any case, I was in the lab a lot and doing a lot of just menial shit, which was just very exhausting. I did get out and bike. I finally put the trunk rack I bought for my car last year onto my car. So now when I go mountain biking, I have to take my bike apart, which is nice. So I was able to go once, but ever since I went, it's either been storming or just hotter than the surface of the sun. outside. Like this week, it's been like over 100-degree heat index every single day. I know you guys are feeling it too in Minnesota. And then next week doesn't look like much better either. But yeah, I want to get back out again. But yeah, so just work's been kind of rough with just all that stuff. And then I decided last week. So we talked about last episode about self-efficacy, and, and trying to get that feeling of like you're accomplishing something, and that can have positive effects. So I'm like, I'm going to try to get good at fighting games because that's something that theoretically it's hard and you can work at it and get better. And I'm hoping that it'll make me feel better emotionally. But man, that shit's fucking hard. I've been playing for the past few days and I'm just getting kicked in the mouth. I don't know. It's really difficult. I'm very much at the phase now where I'm getting more frustration than enjoyment, but I want to try to push through and try to get over that hump to feel better about it because I think I can get there. It's just very, very difficult and frustrating. So that's kind of my project for the summer is to try to get good at fighting games, but we'll see if I stick to it. Hopefully I can. But yeah, and then I don't have anything big coming up, just more work in the lab and mountain biking hopefully, and try not to sweat too much. So yeah. All right, well, let's get into our first topic of the night. Dayton, I'm going to throw it over to you to intro this one.
Yeah, so I want to talk about basically only being able to and I don't know if this is just a me thing or if it's like an everybody thing, and that's why I want to discuss it, but like only being able to like retrospectively enjoy the good times, like how it's really hard, like when you're in like a quote unquote like good time to be like, man, like I know I'm gonna look back on this and that it's gonna be like look back on it favorably. 'Cause like at least for me, I feel like I'm like too in the moment almost, where I'm like, I know that I'm having like a good time, but like I'm not like fully taking it all in, like I'm just doing it. But then it's only like when I look back on it, like if I were to like look back on like I don't know, let's just say like mountain biking up in Houghton or something like that. Like all of those were just like completely routine things, but now I'm like, man, like that was a really fun time. So I was wondering if you guys have a similar experience, and what sort of experiences those have been, if you've had them.
Yeah, I don't know. When I think about this topic, I don't think about it as in the moment I'm not having a good time, and then later I am. Again, when I'm thinking about later, I am. It's more that I think our brain just kind of pick out all the good stuff, and we remember the good stuff. We don't remember the bad stuff. I think that's more of what's happening. Like, think about like this, us living together in college, right? I remember all of the fun parties and just like sitting around and hanging out and all the dumb shit we did. I don't think about when it was 3 a.m. and I wanted to go to bed, but I couldn't because there was still people being loud in our living room, or having to go up 3 flights of stairs to use the bathroom. Like you just like don't.
You didn't have to use that
The
bathroom.
shower I
Yeah,
had to.
use bathroom. You did not.
The good shower was on the top floor. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. But or just like how nasty our house got sometimes. Like the time I was sitting on the couch and a fucking millipede came out from underneath my legs, under the couch. So I think our brain just kind of pick the good stuff if we want to. Like it's weird because like sometimes your brain only picks the negative out of things, but for stuff like that, we kind of just pick all the positive stuff and then we kind of put it together in our heads and be like, yeah, that was a great time. But I don't think I'm like converting bad memories to good memories. I'm just like picking all the good stuff out. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
but I don't think I'm. When I think of our hiking trip, you almost killed me, Dayton. I do remember like when I was going up that first incline, I had to stop because we were just going up elevation so fast. Like that specific memory is not going to switch to being like good. You know what I mean? But like other stuff that trip was fun,
baby.
Other stuff that trip was fun, so I remember the good stuff, just not that specific moment.
Well, I guess in those moments, like let's say like when, like your example of like the parties that we had, were you like consciously like self-reflecting in those moments and being like, man, this is like a really fun time, or were you just like in the moment?
The only time I remember being conscious in the moment and thinking about that was the last time we were at a Love Shack for a party. Because it was the last time. Like stuff like a little more like milestone events. I remember being a little more conscious of the moment, or conscious about that fact and thinking about it. But most of the time, I was just in the moment being like, do I feel good? Do I feel bad? Am I drunk? Am I sober? That stuff like that. I'm not really thinking about it as like a holistic experience at that time.
Yeah, I feel like the ending of something definitely makes you like a little bit more self-reflective of it, you know. Like my last semester of college, and I don't know, just like when I think of like a phase is ending, I get extremely nostalgic. I'm just a very nostalgic person, I think, in general. So I think you definitely amplify it. But kind of going back to what you're saying, I feel like how you like couldn't change a good memory to a bad memory. I feel like there's definitely things that feel really good in the moment, and I know you're probably gonna feel better later looking back on them because you're taking out all, like you said, all like the like all the things that could make it worse or something. So I don't know. It's hard because like I think in college is such an easy example for us to use because we all had a very similar experience. But even at like work that I'm at right now, like there is a lot of people who have left, and like there was like a golden era in my head with work where there's just like certain people and like the tasks that we had that was just like really fun. But I didn't realize I was in it until I had the contrast of it changing. So I feel like there's almost like two kinds of ways for me to get nostalgia. Like one, knowing something's going to end, and two, like having later contrast of not realizing what I had was the best version of, or one of the best versions, or a special thing I didn't realize was special. You know, like mountain biking in Houghton, that's when I first started mountain biking. So I was like, this is just what trails are like. And then I started mountain biking in Minneapolis, and I'm not saying they're like bad trails, they're good, but like, I don't know. I didn't realize how fucking good the trails in the UP were.
You're
You
so
know,
lucky.
like I didn't know that contrast existed until I experienced what other people had it like, or like what my life became. That I became a lot more nostalgic of those type of things. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of type that I deal with the most is like like when something changes and then you're just like, man, I actually did have it really good back then.
Yeah.
And now I'm like retroactively being like, damn, I missed that. That was a good time.
Sure.
Well, there's that quote from The Office. I think, who was it, Andy?
Oh, like the
Says,
last episode.
it could be. I just know I haven't seen all The Office, so like couldn't tell you
Yeah.
when it happens. But he says, "I wish you could know you were in the good old days before you were out of them," or something to that effect. And it's like that is exactly it. Like
Right.
it's hard to know. Yeah, it's like obviously we knew, again, college was fun. We knew college was fun, but you didn't know that it's how fun and how like not unfun, but like different your life is after. Like you know, but you don't understand. Right? It's just a very contrasty where it's like, yeah, it's a very different setup and a lifestyle afterwards, and yeah, you just don't realize how good you got it till it's gone, you know.
Right. I wonder if choosing like look at your memories and thinking that was a good memory versus a bad memory. You know, is that because we want it to be good or bad, or is it because it was more good than bad? And I'm asking because if I compare like how I think about college versus how I think about waiting tables in high school, right? It's like I think of college as a generally positive memory, but maybe it's because college is supposed to be fun and positive. Whereas I think about like waiting tables as more negative. Like I don't really think about that as like, oh, it was a great time, you know. And even like if I try hard, I can pick out like the good memories from that, but those don't come to mind first. It's more of like the bad memories. But is it because I had more bad than good memories, or is it because working in service industry sucks? So I frame that in my head as like, oh, that's supposed to be bad, so I'm gonna make it bad in my memories. Does that make sense? Like I wonder how much framing has to do with recalling memories.
I mean, waiting tables is also just a job that you did in high school.
Yeah.
And so that's like, okay, I'm not hanging out with my like high school friends. I'm going to do this other thing, and it's work. And it's like, sure, our college jobs weren't like fun. Like Mine was pretty fun, but it was still a job.
I liked mine.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day,
I really like mine.
it's still work, and
I
so
love
it's
mine.
like,
Yeah.
you still have that like frame of reference, whereas like college is like it's it's more similar to like summer camp where you're in with this group of people, you're doing different things throughout the day. You're not always with the same people, but you're in a similar environment the whole time. It's more lifestyle-istic than like just a evening job or weekend job, right? And so I think it's pretty easy, or not easy, but like I can understand like, yeah, high school job sucked. College, hanging out with friends, drinking. Sure, there was studying and exams, but like the amount of time and like uh not motivation, but like effort, not even effort, but just like brain power put into exam, or like time spent
Yeah.
thinking about exams was not nearly as much as I spent, hiking and just doing dumb shit with you guys, right?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I guess
I
going off of that, like to Dayton, when you're in the moment thinking, I will enjoy this more in retrospect, is that because you feel like you're supposed to? Like if you're on like a hiking trip because it's going to be a good time, even if you're not having a good time in the moment, are you thinking, oh, well, I should be having a good time, so therefore I will remember this as a good time? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think that's my mindset.
Okay.
I think I don't know, cause like I'm a big fan of type 2 fun, where it's
Right.
like in the moment it's pretty fucking shitty. Um, and I mean I think that the definition of fun there, like type 1 and type 2 fun, like they're very different things, and I think that they're different. I mean they are different types of fun, but like type 2 is like it's associated more with like accomplishment and like I I guess that's probably like the best way that I can put it. Whereas like type 1 is just like pure dopamine and serotonin.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know, I feel like in those moments when I'm like let's just say like when Joseph and I were hiking through the rain and, on multiple occasions. Um and it's just like I'm I know retrospectively I'm not going to be focusing on how shitty the rain was. I'm going to be focusing on how I was able to spend time with my good friend doing this together, and we are able to do this and get through it essentially.
Sure.
So it's not it like I don't know, like the whole like supposed to be like the whole framing aspect. I don't think that comes into mind for me.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess so. Is it kind of like when things are hard, you're thinking of something positive to help you push through?
Yeah, like I guess I'm thinking about how cool this is going to be later on, to
Sure.
say that we did this and to talk about it later on and laugh about it and just be like, man, remember how fucking shitty that was? Do you remember but we still just like kept trucking through it? I don't know, like
I
it
also
seems
remember
like
having this discussion during it where we were like, yeah, it'll take about a month and this will be really funny though. But right now I'm soaked to the bone
yeah,
and miserable.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate your optimism. I don't know if I'm as good at good. I can't talk. As good at that as you guys are. I feel like I have a hard time when things are really shitty at pushing through. Unless like there are people around me. Like I remember like cross country in high school. It's easier because there's like a team around you and you kind of get energy from other people and they can encourage you. But when you're on your own, it can be, at least for me, it can be hard to decide to push through. Like Dayton, you're training for ultramarathon right now, mostly running by
Hmm.
yourself. I could not do that. Like without
Yeah.
another person, that'd be extremely hard.
Yeah, I would say like 95% of my running is done by myself.
Yeah, that's insane. uh, Gabe, I cut you off earlier. Did you want to say something?
Oh fuck.
Sorry.
Let me see if I can regen my thought. Oh, I remember. Okay. You were talking about how you don't know if you were talking about like something about working as a waiter and not knowing if you were seeing it in a negative light because
It's a
Fuck, I can't
waiter, or
remember.
because I had more bad memories than good memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say like to like to challenge that thought. I've definitely had like nostalgia where I feel like I shouldn't have,
Mm,
especially like in my dating life where
sure.
there things where like, and that might just be like a stage of denial. Like when I end things or things get ended, I'll be like, oh, that was really good, and then it probably wasn't, and like wasn't really ever gonna go anywhere. Like wasn't good to begin with, but like in that moment or a couple times, I'm like. I have like a weird nostalgia for it, but
Mm.
I don't think that's like because it's good, but because I don't know. It was something, I don't know. I can't really explain it.
I know.
It's just
I think I know
different.
what you're trying to say. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Or
Like I miss the
that
company of people, I guess almost maybe it's
Mhm.
like,
Or like how they made you feel in the
right.
moment. Right.
Yeah. Because some people can like make you feel in a certain way that is really good, but it's also like this isn't gonna work type of a deal.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So there's definitely some like weird nostalgia ending, like I don't know, those type of things.
yeah. I mean, there are a lot
I
of
don't
things that feel good that you shouldn't do, right? Like there's like
know.
I could eat 2 pizzas. Yeah, it tastes fantastic, but I'm gonna be fucking paying for it
Yeah.
later. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that where it's not always a
Yeah,
one
I
to
don't know.
one.
I guess I was just trying to like bring up like odd nostalgia where like
Yeah.
there's nostalgia for things you almost feel like you shouldn't be nostalgic for
Hmm.
or like don't feel like they've earned nostalgia, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. 'Cause I definitely like I've had some experiences or memories where I like feel like I miss it, but then if I were to like actually think about it and think of all like the details and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty shitty.
Yeah.
It's just
hmm
in the moment it felt good type of a deal.
Yeah.
So is nostalgia for you guys inherently good? Or I guess like is this just like a definition? Like
I'll pull
is
up definition.
nostalgia defined as like good past memories,
So
or is it just past
Yes, it
memories?
is. So, sorry, just a quick definition of nostalgia: a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past. So, yeah, it has a positive
Hmm.
connotation.
Okay.
I feel like to
say
me it's
that's
not though.
because I
I don't know.
get along with that though, I get nostalgia for like what I would consider bad things, but like I still see it as like
Yeah,
a
you
longing
reframe it
feel
as a
like
good thing.
yeah, like I don't know, like when I worked at the farm still and I'd work, what was it, 80 hours in a week? That fucking sucked, but like I don't know, it's like that was a I look back on it as like that was a struggle and I persevered through that. Like I don't it's not the same type 2 fun like I struggled and persevered like Isle Royal and like oh that was fun, that was enjoyable.
hmm
It's like no that sucked, but now I know I can get through other things and like yeah, it was a different time in my life. It was a shitty high school job. It wasn't that shitty. I hope you're not listening, Dad. Um, but it's hard work, and and there's other things where it's like I recognize them as not being good times in my life, but I still have nostalgia for them because I can recognize like other time things in that time frame that were good,
Hmm.
and like oh yeah, even though I did this or like this not fun thing was happening, there were these other fun things that were happening, and so like as a whole, I can still like wish to be not wish to be back there, but like
Hmm.
appreciate who I was and what I was doing then.
I, I don't know if
That makes sense.
I don't know if I'd use the word nostalgia to describe that. I think that's like pride and self reflection because you're
hmm
not like wishing you were back in that moment. You're just appreciating what you were able to do at that time, right?
Yeah.
Nostalgia is like longing for the past. Like, oh, I wish could after middle school go home and play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 with my buddy every day like we used to do.
Yeah.
It's like whereas that I think is also important, but I think I don't know if I'd use the word nostalgia for it. I think it's just like
Okay.
self reflecting.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I will say I feel like I was just kind of thinking about how Joseph is describing his nostalgia on you guys. I feel like a lot of my nostalgia comes from the idea that things were simpler back then, or like,
Definitely.
but I think a lot of that is shaving off details where it's like, oh, all I had to worry about was just getting through this. I mean, even if it's like a shitty job or something, or like some internship, or hang out with some friends, or I don't know. It's like all I had to do was worry about this, and the rest of it was all play. And it's like definitely was not what it was like at all.
No.
And there was
No.
other things that made it shitty. Even high school, like all I had to worry about was playing soccer in school. Yeah, well, I also like didn't have a car at the time and like couldn't make my own fucking decisions, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know.
No,
I
I'm
trade
not. I'm not.
a heartbeat for all I think everything was simpler back then, just because you're just not aware of the realities of the world, you know, and just
I
how.
mean,
yeah,
yes, but like you're also dealing with like a whole bunch of other shit that like at least I don't have to deal with anymore. Like
Sure.
hmm
I thought it would be really funny to to look back at some of like my old like Facebook messages.
Oh God,
Oh,
Like,
it's a
middle
bad
school.
idea.
no.
Bad idea.
that's a terror. That's how you cringe eternally, dude.
I've done
Dude,
that
I
too, and
was-
I hate it every time
I
I
was
do it.
reading some of the messages. I was like, oh, like I was wondering what I was talking about like with my friends. Dude, the shit that like we would talk about, I was just like, I forgot that I even had to go through that shit.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
or
and
cared
now I'm
about
just
it
like
even.
man, like my social life is so much more secure now. Like
hmm
I don't have any problem with telling people to fuck off. It's awesome. Um so I don't know. I think that like looking back like nostalgically onto like that phase of life is toxic. I don't know. That's the only word I got.
Well, Jacob, I know how you were saying, like, okay, even if you're using the high school example, right? I literally got nostalgic with my coworkers today about working during COVID because I was like, that shit was awesome. Nobody was in the office. We could just shout across like the office. It was awesome. But like, obviously, there was so many other things going on, and
Mhm.
there were moments where all of us were genuinely quite scared and like worried about so many other things, like our health, our jobs, like all
Yeah.
that stuff. But literally today, like, oh, that shit was the best. Free food, only 8 of us in the office.
Mhm.
Nobody could bug us. It's just like it
Yeah,
wasn't simpler. It was
Nostalgia is like
just
inherently tied to rose-colored glasses.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I hear you say. And I'm maybe again, I'm being rose-colored glasses. But I just remember the time, like middle school in particular.
Maybe
Middle
your
school,
nostalgia's blinding this conversation.
middle
Yeah,
school was
yeah.
so simple. Of like go to school, or middle school summer in particular. I did like a workout program at like the high school or whatever. So I go like work out with my buddy, go back to his house, play Mono for 2, eat a frozen pizza, play more Mono for 2, go home. Like it was the fucking best. That was a fantastic summer. You know, life's not like that anymore. Now I got to worry about like paying rent and finding friends in a new town and all that. Yeah, life was so much easier back in middle school.
Just tell everybody to fuck off. It's so much easier.
That's how you get friends, Dayton.
Hey man, at this point I'm trying to get rid of some.
Oh man.
But also in middle school, you had to deal with like acne, puberty.
Oh.
Dude,
Ugh.
influx
Yeah.
of hormones that just change how you are and act.
Yeah.
No,
Shit's
thank you.
wild.
I'm talking like
Remember just
pre-puberty.
being angry for
Pre-puberty,
no
life
reason?
was good. All right, puberty is when everything went downhill.
Jacob started getting his ass hair that made his bidet not work so well.
Yep, dude. God, every time I have to shit, not at my house anymore, it is the fucking worst. Like I had to shit on campus this week. I'm like, why don't they have bidets here? This is terrible.
Oh my god.
You should just bring a water bottle with you.
I was just gonna say, bring a
Squirt
squirt bottle.
One of the Gatorade
Yeah.
squirt bottles.
I think you can get like portable bidets. Like it's like a
No.
little like
It's not worth it.
reservoir, literally like a squeezed water bottle, and it's got like a curved spout, so you can like stick it underneath you. And
I'm not gonna hold that on my way to the bathroom, Joseph. You know what I mean? It's a long walk, all right? Somebody's gonna see me.
have it in your backpack or something at all times. Fill it up on the sink before you go.
Oh my god.
There you go. Problem solved.
Any other points anyone wants to make on this topic before we move on?
About personal bidets or portable bidets? No, I think.
All right, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second topic I want to talk about tonight was a thought I had when I was lying in bed trying to go to sleep the other night. I was thinking about how a lot of people our age, are getting married. They're having kids, which feels crazy. I mean, we're like 25. That feels absolutely nuts. So I was just wondering, I was thinking about you guys and like, what would each of us be like as parents? Or like, what would be, if you were a parent, right? If you like tomorrow, someone shows up with like a 4-year-old kid, it's like you got to take care of this kid. What are you doing? What like parenting styles are you thinking about? What like do you want to achieve as a parent? Yeah, I'm just
Wait,
curious.
can we go around and have each one of us say what we think everybody else would be like? I feel like that'd be
Yeah,
kind of
we can
fun.
do that.
All right,
So let's
because I
start.
already have mine picked out.
All right, well, Dayton, let's start
Oh,
with
God.
talking about Gabe. So Dayton, you start.
All right, Gabe. So I feel like Gabe would kind of. I feel like in this moment he'd kind of be an asshole.
At 24. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like you'd be kind of an asshole to the kid. You'd probably be kind of strict. But then also I feel like you'd also just kind of just like hand him an iPad and be like, "Shut up! I'm gonna go play video games or go play soccer or whatever." And Joseph.
Well, no. Let's stay on Gabe. So now Joseph
Oh.
talk about Gabe.
Oh, so
We're not
so
done
we all
roasting
get to
me.
it. We all
Yeah,
get to
yeah.
attack.
We all
each other
attack
at
Gabe,
one
and then
time.
Gabe talks about what his actual answer is, and then we'll go.
Okay.
on like that.
Okay. That's fair. I
I
like
like
that
that.
format.
I think Gabe would be like those memes of the dad, I don't want a dog, dad with the dog. And then he's like super close where he's like at first like, God damn it, I don't want to raise a kid. And like after a while, like, okay, now that I can see that he's like me and that like I can influence him and like we can do stuff
Can
together and like
manipulate him.
manipulate, but, like,
bitch.
I could, like, I mean, I see it with like my brothers-in-law where like my brother-in-law Kyle, he likes Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Star Wars, all the same shit I do, and so he's like pushing Calvin to like it, and like I am too. So like we watched Yu-Gi-Oh when I was home. It was great. It was fantastic.
Well, did it hold
But
up? I
anyway.
feel like Yu-Gi-Oh as a show does not hold up.
No,
No,
it
it's
doesn't. I
terrible.
watched
Is it
a few. I
Was it
watched
like
a
the
few.
original show, or is it
Yeah.
like the
like
new
season
reboot?
1
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
is on Netflix. It's so bad.
It's not
It's
good.
impossible to watch. But I'm excited that Calvin's excited about it.
Mhm.
So I'm saying I could see like you like once 4 years old is about when I mean like obviously you can see interest earlier, but like communicating and like being able to encourage them to do things. And so like I think once they're at an age that like they can do the things that you like to do, you'll really like latch onto that and like really be excited about it.
Mhm.
But I think up until that point, you'd be miserable.
Yeah, that's what I think. It would be kind of a blessing if it showed up as a 4-year-old.
That's why I picked 4, because like it's not like a baby you have to take care of, but so
Yeah.
they're like moving around a little bit, but they're not quite in kindergarten yet.
But you still have to like raise them and like
Yeah.
teach them things.
Yeah.
That's a more positive spin on it than I had, Joseph. I applaud you.
Yeah, so if I'm thinking picking between Josephine and Dayton's analyses here. I'm a
Wait,
little
no,
bit.
you need to talk about Gabe's.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm saying between your
But
two
he's-
analysis of Gabe, I'm probably leaning a little bit closer to
Oh.
Dayton. I think Gabe, you'd be kind of my way or the highway. I'm imagining your dad. All right, I'm afraid of your dad, Gabe. So like,
You're afraid of my dad?
like you're basically like, I'm going mountain biking. You're coming with, and if you fall, I'm not stopping for it. Like he's got a little tiny mountain bike. So yeah, I feel like you'd be kind of a hard ass, but I can see what Joe's saying. You'd soften up, but I think in the beginning it'd be difficult to adapt to, and I think you'd be a little more strict than maybe you'd want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think all you guys are right. 100%. I would, if someone like gave me like we were in this scenario, right? Like 4-year-old comes to my door and like this is you're the dad now. I would initially have absolute fierce resistance towards it. Even with other people in my life, like just friends and whatnot, I could definitely be like my way or the highway. Like I'm just gonna go do this. Like I'm just in that type of person, and I would probably get annoyed with having a kid. Because at 24 right now, I am just so not ready. Like I 100% am not ready to have a kid.
Have you? I think you've talked before on the podcast that you don't really want to have kids, right? Or maybe they'll change. But...
Not really.
Yeah.
No. At this point in my life, I have no desire to. However, I do think there could be a point where if I started seeing them liking like some of the stuff I like as a childhood or like as a adult, I would completely change my opinion. Like one of those things where it's like I didn't know this was something that I wanted, and now that I have it, like I couldn't live without it type of a deal. So I could see it. I just don't know at this point in my life right now which way I would go. I feel like it could be like, oh, this isn't gonna, like, you aren't gonna coerce me, or like I would just melt and completely change my personality as a parent. So
Are there anything
Coin flip.
from
yeah.
your parents that you would want to do or specifically not do based on your own experience?
It's so hard because my dad does listen sometimes. I'll give a very PC
We went from
answer.
roasting Gabe to roasting Fred.
Yeah. Poor Fred. He's just like, why is Jacob scared of me?
I'm sorry, Fred. You scare me a little bit. Joseph's mom scares me too. All right, there's a lot of parents in this podcast that scare me.
Just scare you. What would I do different? I think a lot of trouble in upbringing was just having two very different parent styles, with my parents being divorced. I kind of got like emotional whiplash going between houses,
Sure.
and like how people, or how each side would kind of parent me. I think my mother is very verbal with her love, and a very like caring person, but almost like in an overprotective way, where she like was very afraid of like letting me do things. And then my dad, on the other hand, also very loving, but just never, he's not very like a verbal person about it, but would do a lot more like quality time thing, and just kind of like let me do my own thing, and always has kind of been that way. So I feel like kind of down the middle would be probably my approach, but
Sure.
I don't think either of them necessarily like were bad parents. It's just two very different people with two completely different styles, and like how they thought they should raise a kid. So
Right. Just trying to pick the best from both.
yeah, and I think it would be different too if I had like if I had a partner to raise the kid with. Like I would have a completely different discussion with that, I think,
Right.
versus like if it was just me. Because if it's just one person, I mean, you kind of have to take up more roles, and just do a lot of other different things. So it would really depend.
For sure. All right, let's do Joseph now. I feel like Joseph is pretty easy, because Calvin exists. You know,
I have other nieces and nephews.
but all right, let's
You
be
have a
honest here.
favorite.
You have a favorite, and I feel like Joseph's already got some practice in. But he is playing the uncle role. He doesn't have to deal with all the bullshit. He just gets the easy mode.
Dude, being an uncle sounds so fun. You just
Fucking kick ass.
yeah.
And
All the
also,
best parts, none of the worst ones.
do we allow Alyssa to help out in this scenario?
See, that was a
Dude, that's
question I was
okay.
having
I asked
earlier.
this question and it wasn't specified. So
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Just
It's like,
Joseph.
Is this a single father experience?
Let's do
or is this
single.
like the mother, or
Like, okay, like you're still dating Alyssa, but she can't help you at all. You know, like it's
the kid doesn't exist to her.
She can't see the
you
kid.
You have to hide. You have to hide the kid from her.
Or no, like in her eyes, the kid's just like invisible. Joseph looks crazy. He's like, I can take care of this kid. She's like, what kid? Like, there's no kid here. Yeah. So like for Joseph, you have experience with Calvin, and I do think even though Alyssa can't help you, I think I would assume that Alyssa being a teacher might influence some of your actions of what you've like heard stories from her possibly, and how she teaches maybe. So I think Joseph would be initially be like, you know, a 4-year-old, I got to take care of this kid, but I think he'd be fine. I think he'd be good at it. I think he'd have a good time. So I think Joseph would be a solid dad right now. I'll go to Dayton next.
Yeah, I think Joseph would be a complete pushover. I think that this kid would be like, give me Pokemon cards, and then Joseph would come back from the store with like $150 worth of Pokemon cards, and this kid would just
for
be
him.
yeah.
See, that's
This kid would just be such a spoiled brat. That's what I think.
All right, Gabe.
I think Joseph would absolutely love being a parent. I mean, I don't know about like at this certain age, but it just seems like that's something he'd totally be into. And I think he would. I think he'd be a good dad. He'd be very caring and very. I don't think he would have like the resistance that I would have initially. I really don't. I don't think he would be like I don't want to fucking take care of this. Someone would do this. He'd be like, yes, this is mine. I will take care of this thing. But
You
I
will
do
be-
think what Dayton was saying has like a definite like hint of truth where like
Yeah.
if the kid was like just offhandedly like made a comment like I like Thomas the Tank Engine, he would buy so much Thomas the Tank Engine like the next day. Like 100% that kid would have
Also,
everything.
I feel like this kid's definitely named Joseph Jr.
Absolutely not.
Or it's just like his middle name and then his middle name is Joseph's first name or just some like weird
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Vincent Joseph.
Yeah. I didn't want to say your middle name. I was gonna wait for you to say it. in
Nobody
case-
docks him.
Yeah, someone docks his ass.
Eh. I think most of you guys are right. I don't think I would spoil them just unconditionally like that. I could see like with the things I enjoy, like specifically like Pokemon is like hell yeah, let's do this, let's go. Like here and like
Just condition them to what you like.
yeah, and not because like when I think of spoiling personally, I think of like getting the kid what they want so that they leave you alone and just like yeah you want it here you go whatever.
The
Not
iPad
really like
parent
being
approach.
yeah, it's like, oh, this will entertain you. Whereas like, no, I want to encourage you and like, oh, you want to do this? Yeah, let's do this. Let's open this box of Pokemon cards, go through them what you think are cool, and I have some knowledge on it. Nowadays not as much as I used to. But like, yeah, let's talk about, whatever. I could see myself doing that, but I don't think spoiling in the sense of like here you go. This will keep you happy.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And same question to you I asked Gabe about parenting style. What would you take from your parents or try to avoid from your parents?
So, one thing, I think I've talked about this before. I don't know. I don't remember. But one thing my mom told me when I was probably in college or probably right after I graduated when we were talking about this. But someone had complimented her on how she had raised like you raised 4 really great kids, like how did you do it, blah blah blah. And the thing she said was that she never threatened a form of punishment that she was not willing to carry out.
Yeah.
So like you hear parents today, they're like I don't know, I've heard stories of like in Disneyland or whatever, kids acting up. If you don't stop acting up, we're going
going
in the
home.
room. You're gonna go home. We're gonna sit in the hotel room all day. It's like, you're here? Are you really gonna sit in the hotel room all day? Are you gonna do that?
Mhm.
The empty punishments. They never did that, and I think I would try to emulate that as best I can because I do think that like you're not gonna just say something and then not go through with it. Like if my mom says that if I don't stop, I'm gonna get a smacking or whatever. Gonna happen. So I should get my shit together. So I think that was one thing I would definitely try to emulate. I can't pick of anything specific that I would not do. Other than raise a fucking nerd. That'd be it. That's what I would pick. I'm just kidding.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, let's do me next. Give me the roast. Dayton, you're first. You already had it. You're all locked and loaded.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of forgotten what I thought that you would be like by now that we've had all these discussions on Gabe and Joseph.
My strategy works.
I mean, I think that you would be pretty caring. I think that you would also be the parent to get like super overwhelmed with things. Like very, very quickly. But I think overall you'd be a solid parent.
Okay. Joseph?
I think you'd be the type of parent, again, what Dayton was saying, get overwhelmed. But you would also buy every book, every help thing to like you would buy 30 copies of What to Expect When You're Expecting and all the How to Parent for Dummies. Like that is how you would I don't fucking know. I gotta figure it out, and you would really buy into that kind of stuff. not necessarily buy-in, but you would like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
go. That would be your avenue of learning about it. Yeah, I think you'd also be like, you're a pretty patient guy when it comes to that stuff. So I think you would continue that on.
Good.
Yeah, it's hard going third. 'Cause I mean,
Especially when we know each other very well. And
yeah,
for
I
quite a
definitely
while.
could see you, like, I don't know why, but I just have like this picture in my head of you being like, I haven't child-proofed all this shit yet, and there's like 6 months left, and it's just not enough time, and I need to child-proof this whole fucking house. And you have like notes and books, and I don't think that's like a bad thing. I think that's just like you very much are. If you see something on the horizon, you're gonna do everything to get as much ammo as you can. Um, and I think that like I guess we're having like a 4-year-old. So like if it was just dropped off, I think you would have an initial like, what the fuck do I even do? Like what do 4-year-olds like? And you just like read up on it a lot. Gets stressed out, but I do think you would have a pretty good uh a good bond with the kid and like be able to care for it pretty well. I do think so. And I think also you seem like a very open and accepting person, so I think you would be very good at like uh, where I think maybe the other three of us would probably push interests on the kid. I'm not saying you wouldn't. You'd be like, here's movies.
We're
You'll love
watching
them.
One Piece day one. All right.
But I do think that you might do a better job than us. Like if they seemed interested in something, even if it was something that you weren't like 100% down with, or you personally want to be interested with, would be willing to explore that with them.
Yeah.
Where I'd just be like, check out this bike, you fucking like it.
Yeah, I think you guys.
For 2 years at least, right, Gabe? And then you'll switch to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Now we're
like a
learning
kid.
guitar.
You get 2 years.
Yeah, I think you guys absolutely nailed me. I would try to be super caring, but I'd be so anxious the entire time, at least for like the first 6 months or a year or whatever. And yeah, you're totally right. I would totally just like grab as many YouTube videos and books and resources as I could. Because I remember even when I was using TikTok, I'd get like the gentle parenting videos. Because I'm like, I think the parenting philosophy is really interesting. So I'd watch those. I'm like, should I save these for later? Like, because this is really good information, I don't even know if I want to have kids or not, but like, this would be solid. I remember talking to Alyssa about that because she does like gentle parenting type stuff when she's teaching. But yeah, no, for sure. I would be. I had to watch my friend's dog for a weekend, like a few weekends ago, and even that, I'm like, I can handle it, but I'm also pretty nervous. Like, and it's just like a dog, like it's fine. So yeah, I think I'd be very stressed out and overwhelmed, but and yeah, definitely looking at a lot of resources, but I hopefully think I'd be able to handle it. But yeah, and I think with regards to like my parents, one thing that I think was good is that I felt like I had a lot of like resources. Like I could try anything I wanted to. Like I felt like I could try anything I wanted to more or less. But I don't. One thing I would add on to that is like pushing the kid to try certain things. Like just saying like you can do whatever you want is fine, but it'd be like you can do whatever you want. So let's try this thing or let's try this thing and try and get more of an idea of like what Gabe was saying, what they gravitate towards too and what they like and going towards that. And then the other big thing that I definitely would want to emphasize is just the feeling that the kid could talk to me about anything. Like I think it's a really important thing to have with a parent or even just like a friend too. But just like you can talk about anything. Like I will never judge you or never like get mad at you for just talking to me about how you're feeling or what you want to do. This and another thing. So yeah, just trying to make like an open, like safe environment for that as much as I can would be a top priority for me. I don't know if I'll be able to do it well, but I want to try to do it for sure. But I'm gonna go Dayton next. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Joseph first because I need to think.
Don't give Joseph time to think.
I think Dayton would have a sweet spot with parenting. And I think 4 is a little too early with it. So like early on, he'd be like what the fuck is going on?
This thing
Like,
needs to
he'd
stop
like,
puking and shitting.
yeah, like he'd like make a dinner, and he's like, "What do you mean you don't want to eat a fucking grilled cheese? Like, what the fuck?" Or like whatever vegan food, like you would. I don't know what specifically kid. Like, I just know my nieces and nephews. They like grilled cheese, chicken nuggets, and mac and cheese.
Hmm.
So like, obviously you can get like vegan alternatives for those. But it's like, what do you mean you don't want that? Well, eat it. I don't care. You know, like it's just like I what? It just I could definitely see in that. And then once they're older and like I don't know, I just have this image in my head of like when we did the house tours, or not tours, but like spring break senior year, and we were playing with all the different families' dogs and Dayton like really roughing them up and like like not antagonizing them, but like that. I could see like
Malik.
once the kid gets old enough and Dayton's like, oh, I gotta fuck with them now, and like I don't know, not like terrorize, but like roughhouse and like I think Dayton would really excel at that age, which would probably be like 5 to like I don't know, maybe like 10 ish, maybe close to 12 depending. But yeah,
Hmm.
I could see like that age, and then once they get like, I mean, far down the line, but like teenagers, you'd be like, dude, shut the fuck up. I don't care that you're moody and like, and not in like a rude way, but like, come on, like, I did it. I went through that. You can get through it too. It's fine. You're fine. I don't know. I feel like I'm saying it in a really rude way, but I feel like Dayton would not come across in like a rude way. He'd be like, "Hey, it's okay. Don't bullshit me here,"
Hmm.
kind of deal.
Don't bullshit the bullshitter.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
Yep.
Gub.
Yeah, I think what Joseph said is pretty true. I think there would be moments where he wouldn't have like patience for like stupid shit because I don't think he has patience for stupid shit in his life now, which is like it's like Joseph was saying, it's not a bad thing. It's just this isn't a big deal, like get over it type of a deal. Um, but I do think he would have a lot of fun like playing around the kid or like exploring interests or being able to do things a lot. I think that would be probably a strong suit. Like I don't know, like the dogs, but yeah, playing with a kid, I think he would have a lot of fun eventually. But I think getting over like how to handle, I think it would just be a little bit of a learning curve for him to like how to handle like I mean with anybody, right? Like kids' emotions is a lot different than handling
Mhm.
like uh, than adult emotions. I mean, you see there's so many videos on the internet of kids just being irrationally stupid or like irrationally angry at something. I think
Doesn't make
that would be a
sense.
learning curve for anyone, but I think watching Dayton react to it the most would probably be more fun than others.
Well, it's probably because I would just wear my emotions right on my face, and I would just
Yeah,
be
you're
like,
just like,
"Are you
okay, yeah,
kidding me?"
yeah. Are you really just saying that right now? And I do think that Dane's kids would be also minions of chaos. I think because he is such a easygoing person, I think that would inevitably seep through, and I think that the kid would probably follow in the footsteps and just kind of be more of a free spirit type of a person and just like to have fun.
Yeah, I think going out kind of what Joe said, I think he'd be a very physical dad, being like, yeah, you're throwing him around a lot, going outside and roughhousing and stuff like that. I think it'd be really good. I do think on the more challenges side, I think because like there are certain things that you don't care at all about, so you're like whatever, and certain things you're very rigid on. So I think you'd have like
Mhm.
some things in the house where you're like, oh, whatever, but other things like there's one way to do this, and this is the way, like, I don't know, like the way you wash dishes. Like, this is the way we're doing dishes. There's no wiggle room, all right? I don't care if you got a different method, where this is the dishwashing procedure, or like, don't touch my motorcycle. There'd be like certain things that are very, very, stiff, and other things
You
you're
have
like,
like a
Yeah.
basement that the kid can never go in type of a
yeah,
deal.
yeah, that's
This is
that's
Daddy's
my chainsaw.
playhouse.
All right, don't touch my chainsaw, okay? Um,
Don't touch my.
so like, I think you'd have like stiff rules, but also be very laissez-faire in other scenarios, and it'd be kind of, you know, difficult to like balance those things.
Mhm.
But yeah, what Gabe said too. Yeah, just like learning curve with dealing with irrationality. Um, but yeah, I think overall he could be a fun dad. You give off like fun uncle energy. I think.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think that's more or less true. I definitely agree that, some things I'm very like um particular about, and other things I literally couldn't care any less
Hmm.
about. And I think like I am not personally conscious of those. So I think it would take a little bit for me to one become conscious of them, and then also two make sure that like my kid is aware of that as well. Um, but yeah, I definitely like with the whole like dogs thing, like the second that the kids are like able to do stuff, and that I don't have to be like walking on eggshells around them, then I feel like that's really where I would have a lot of fun.
It's go time.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
yeah,
and then
the
as
parenting
as
question
far
too
as
as
like
well.
my parents, yeah, honestly, I think that they did a really good job. Like I think that they were pretty like hands off with me. They just kind of let me like develop as I felt fit. And they offered like guidance and structure where it was needed. But I think that it's partly because they, at an early age, they probably taught me, not to do certain things, or to think about my actions before I do them, and stuff that I'm just like not aware of, because at that point in time I wasn't even conscious. Um, so yeah, but yeah, I think like the only thing that was like different, like listening to like other people's like families, is like how some parents are like super like open about like their emotions, and like sharing that like with their kids. Like that's just like not what we have.
Mm, mhm,
So
mhm. Yeah. Um, a question I want to ask all of us is I'm trying to think. I was trying to think of a topic that none of us are interested in. I land on football, like American football. What if the kid was like obsessed with American football? How would you react to that?
Kids
I'll...
I
fucking
would show
play
them
football.
concussion videos.
Those are very different responses.
But
Dayton showing this kid Dominion on day one
No, well, no.
to make him be vegan too.
No. They need to think for themselves. I can just provide the information.
well, yeah. Sorry, go back before we do football stuff again. For Joseph and Dayton, what would you do like diet wise? Because at that point they're kind of too young to make a decision, even if you gave them the information. So would you feed them a
Yeah.
vegetarian or vegan diet, or would you?
So all the data shows that a vegan diet is perfectly healthy, for children, for mothers who are pregnant. So I think I would probably raise them that way. But the second that they can think for themselves, obviously, like they can do whatever the fuck they want to.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I wouldn't personally want to be the one buying the meat and buying the eggs and stuff like that.
yeah,
But if that's how they want to live, then that's how they want to live. I don't know.
yeah. But if they're at a friend's house and they have burgers, like it's not you're not gonna freak out or anything.
No, I mean, I would. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say in the moment. I
Hmm.
would probably be kind of like disappointed, but if that's how they want to live, that's how they want to live.
Sure. Just what about you?
I'd probably do something similar. I mean, like, and obviously, like at 4 years old, it's hard to have that conversation. But yeah, no, I wouldn't be buying meat for them at that age. But I'd, discuss it, and especially like friend's house thing. I would, hopefully have a good enough relationship with my kid and their friends, parents,
Right.
and stuff to be like, hey, we are vegetarian. Um, he's never had meat before. If probably ruin his stomach if he eats meat. Just be aware of that.
Do you
Uh,
want
you
him to ruin your
know,
toilet? Because
yeah, and like just kind of being aware of that, and then like yeah, and like probably like around middle school age, we have discussion like, hey, this is what I do. By now, you're aware that not everyone else does. You can do what you want. I mean, like kind of similar. Like I'm not really going to be comfortable buying that kind of stuff, but like if we're at a restaurant and that's what you want to order, be my guest. Like you can eat it, but I'm not eating leftovers of it. I'll tell you that much. Like you're eating it and you're finishing it. Like, or maybe not finishing it, but like that's the meal you're choosing.
Yeah, you're responsible.
That was such a dad sentence. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's your decision ultimately,
Right.
just like it's my decision. So
Yeah. All right, going back to the football thing, Gabe, what did you say that you and Dave talked at the same time? So I missed what you said.
Oh, I said the kid gets to play football. I mean, I feel like there's no reason for me to not like it would be a disservice to me to like take that from a kid. Like if they have that level of like childlike wonder for something, like why would I stifle that just because it's not what I liked,
Sure.
I mean, my parents, I have hobbies that my parents don't have, and they still supported me for it more than they ever needed to, like beyond the minimum, like travel soccer games, driving 2 hours minimum to some places, further just because they knew I liked it, but they never played it growing up. They didn't give a shit, but they knew I liked it and I liked hanging out with people. So, if that's what it takes for the kid to enjoy themselves and meet new people and stuff, say it's worth it.
Joseph, you similar?
I don't know, because like watching football and like playing football video games, I think is one thing. It's an interesting sport, whatever. But I think kids playing, especially contact football, there's a lot of research on how damaging that is to like their developing brains and stuff that I would be very worried about like letting them play like full contact. And like I mean like they start contact in like before middle school, I think. And so like there are some leagues where like full pads tackle football at like 4th, 5th grade. And it's like that's really young. That's a lot of damage that can potentially happen before they're, even in puberty. Like I don't know, that would make me super nervous. I mean, I'm not gonna stop like flag football or whatever, but I would just, it's a dangerous thing. And I think there's a lot more research out now, and probably by the time that would happen, even more so. And I think it'd be harder for kids to play full contact football by that point.
Sure.
In what, 5 years from now? So
yeah, I didn't mean to pick a thing that was like dangerous. I was like, what's a sport?
I didn't even think of that. Like it didn't even cross my mind. It was just like a thing that they didn't. I thought I interpreted the question as like they don't want to do this, like, or something I don't like to enjoy.
Yeah,
they like.
And that was my intention. But no, you're totally making valid points. I don't want to like disregard anybody's.
But I would still, but like I said, you want to root for insert team. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's watch games. Let's see if we can go to a game. Let's buy jerseys, t-shirt, whatever, hats, whatever. I would just feel really uncomfortable signing up my kid to play contact football.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'd probably take the approach of what you guys were saying earlier. If I'd read a book about football, I mean, I know the rules of football more or less. I watched football growing up, but I'd probably get a little bit too into it. Of like, all right, you want to do this? We're doing it right. We're learning about the players. We're learning about all that stuff. But yeah, if it was them playing like contact, I might think more about like the damage of it. But as a pure like hobby, or like you said, like NCAA football, like the games, it's like we can do that together, because I think it's nice when you can share a hobby with your kid and get into it with them. So yeah, last topic before we end, just because we're talking about sports, what kind of sports parent would you be? Because I know we all grew up around these psycho sports parents. What sports parent would you be on the sidelines? I'm going back to Dayton first.
I think I would be calm in the moment. Like I think I would probably just be the parent that's like in the bleachers, just like chilling there. But I think before the game and like in like the off season and stuff like that, I would be like, here's the best ways to train if you want to crush your opponents. If you want to grind them into the dirt, do this.
If you want to grind,
yeah, and then I think like after the game, I think I would also be the parent that would just like want to like talk about it and just be like, oh yeah, I noticed like this and this, and and it seems like to me we should be trying to do this. And just like having like a debrief when I know that would probably be like annoying as fuck. I know that I would hate that personally. So I
Dayton's
know
gonna be
that
the
I
kind
should.
of guy to study the tape every night. We're watching the tape, goddammit. Watch it again.
Would you be the dad, Dayton, that's gonna have a discussion with the coach if your kid's not getting playtime?
Maybe. I don't know. Depends on the coach. Coach is an asshole, sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of asshole coaches. So many. Joseph, what about you?
I definitely want to be one of the parents that goes to every game, that I can. Obviously, there are extenuating circumstances, may not be able to. Every game that I can and participate as I can. The one bringing snacks, bringing
I was
the
gonna say
orange,
the orange
slices,
Yep, yep.
and the juice boxes, and like just helping out and volunteering for the team, as I can, because yeah, I don't know. I always thought that was cool when my parents were able to do that. So I would like to continue doing that. I don't think I definitely wouldn't be the one arguing with the ref. Or I'd try not to. I'd try to hold it in.
You wouldn't get ejected, you don't think?
No, I don't. I think I'd be able to keep it calm. I don't think I'd be like as off-season strenuous as Dayton for sure. But yeah, no, I think I'd more be like the volunteer parent who's like, yeah, I'm here to help. I'm here to encourage. I just want them to have fun and try new things.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna go next because I'm gonna go with Joseph. I think I'm very similar to you, Joseph. I'd want to be bringing the orange slices, hanging out with the other parents. Because like my brother played baseball, a ton of baseball when I was growing up, and I would go and just hang out with my parents and the other parents and be friends with them and just chat. I don't think I'd ever yell at any coach or ref. I do not have that in me. I if my kid was really upset about something, I'd maybe have it discuss with the coach like separately. But I'm not doing anything on the scene. That would that would not go well.
You fucking blind ref.
But going off of what Dayton said in the car ride home, I really want to try not to care more than the kid, because that's where like my dad did that sometimes. It'd be kind of annoying where it's like, I don't even care as much as you're like how frustrated you're getting about what happened. Like, it's fine. So I just want to try to match the kids' energy, talk about how they're feeling about how they did or what happened, but I don't want to like get too intense on them about stuff. Like, just let them have fun or do what they want to do. If they want to train harder, then yeah, I'll figure out how to do that. But I don't want to like, stress them out or get too annoying with it, I guess. But yeah, going to you, Gabe.
Yeah, I think I would probably just try and chill. As someone who has reffed soccer games from the ages of 13 to 16 and reffed like literally 5-year-olds all the way up to people my age, I've been verbally abused a lot in those 3 years as a ref. And I know how shitty that feels and how crazy that comes off, especially when, kids aren't going to be performing at a top level.
Oh, yeah.
However, I do think there's a lot of, I obviously don't have it, but you see a lot of like parental instinct when there's potential harm for your kid. I could see like potentially getting frustrated at that depending on the sport. Like if there's some level of decision, whether that be like ref or coach or whatever, that's like putting my kid or like other kids in harm's way, I would be pretty upset with that. I could see myself speaking up, but yeah, I think overall I would try and engage them as much as it, and maybe to Dayton's degree, probably like try and debrief and be like, here's all the things that you could try, but it'd probably be annoying.
Yeah, well, it's hard to resist that urge. Like, I know it'd be difficult for me to not do that. Like, because I would probably like start doing a lot of research about what our sport is, but it's like, gotta try to hold it back. Like, hold it back. Like, if they ask about it, you can tell them, but don't like, dump all info.
Yeah. Well, if it's a sport that like I know too, like if it was like soccer, for example, I think that would be even harder.
Yeah. That's where it's almost better sometimes if it's a sport that you had no previous experience with.
Yeah, because I wouldn't like know what to do better, Yeah. But like, I feel like soccer, I'd be able to like give good advice, but the kid might not give a shit at all, right? Like they might just be doing it for fun. That's totally fine. But I'd be like, you gotta find these through balls and like talk to him in the car about shit that doesn't matter. So,
Yeah. And yeah, who knows? Maybe all of our kids will just play video games all day. Which is like, great, we can do that too. All right. Well, that will wrap up our show this week. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Again, please be sure to follow us on all of our socials and Twitch. Links are in the description below. We post the first Monday of every month. So, yeah, please share it with your friends if you like it. But until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.
peace.
Bye.
See ya.